Thanks for sticking with us on WSBF-FM Clemson. You're with Shaking the Southland Sports with Mason Bunn and Michael Newton on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Turned out to be a nice day. Thought it was going to rain earlier, but we're getting some beautiful weather out there. Been a really nice week, and we just talked with Phil Sykes from the Clemson basketball program. Got, I guess, a little closing out of the Clemson basketball season after the loss Tuesday night to SMU in Madison Square Garden. Great season by the Tigers. Like I said, already looking forward to the next season, and we got baseball coming up this weekend with the season versus NC State, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But first, we're going to get a quick Masters preview. It's right around the corner, going down to Augusta National, and all the azaleas in bloom with Tiger Woods out. So it's going to be an interesting tournament down there in Augusta, but always a great event. One of the premier sporting events in the world, really. The Masters, I guess, as ESPN says, a tradition like no other. So we're joined now.
We've got Scott Mannix. Scott, thanks for being with us.
Well, thanks for having me on the show, guys.
And, well, let's just get right to it. Obviously, with the it's springtime, it's finally here, and the Masters coming up. Like we were saying, one of the premier sporting events in the world, not just golf. One of the most unbelievable places I've had the privilege of going. And, well, I guess the big news this week was Tiger Woods. Just talk a little bit about that. And, obviously, a lot of people, don't tune into golf until right before the Masters. But what's been going on with Tiger?
Well, it actually didn't really come as that big of a surprise considering how much he's illustrated how he's been in pain in those two events that he played down in Florida when he withdrew from Honda and then he had to play in pain in Doral and then didn't play at Bay Hill. So it really didn't come as that much of a surprise that he needed to have some surgery and sit out for a little while. But I'm curious to see how soon he can come back. He probably won't be able to play the U.S. Open at this rate, and it calls into question whether he can even play the British or the PGA this season. So if he loses this year, that's a big loss for him in terms of his quest for trying to catch Jack Nicklaus.
Right, it really is because he's getting a little older. It seems like he's become a little more injury prone in the last couple of years, and obviously with his back now. But just talk a little bit about Augusta. I know they had some problems with the ice storms back in February, I guess that was, and the kind of damage. I'm sure they've been able to repair that and all the magnolias and all that up there. Just give us an update on that if you don't mind.
Well, the one place you probably won't notice it much in Augusta is at Augusta National. They had that cleaned up quicker than anybody else in town. Believe it or not, they're still cleaning up debris from the trees that were lost during that ice storm. It was a devastating storm for the whole community. So Augusta National obviously lost the Eisenhower tree, and that's the most iconic thing that they lost on the golf course. I'm sure there were dozens of other trees that came down as well, but you'll probably never even notice it, and they may have even been replaced. But this year they won't have replaced the Eisenhower tree yet. And on 17, that will make it a very different golf hole with the guys back there seeing a wide-open fairway in front of them.
Right, it really will. And let's just talk a little bit about one of the world's other best golfers. And Phil Mickelson had a problem with his oblique last week, dropping out of the tournament. But he said earlier this year it was going to be his best year ever. What do you think about that? What is his chances at Augusta? I know he loves Augusta National and playing at the Masters. Just talk about that if you could a little bit.
Okay, obviously, the injury situations he's had this year, he's 43 years old now. He'll be 44 this summer. And, the body doesn't get any younger, and he's had some back troubles that forced him to withdraw from one event, and then he had the full muscle last week. But he's playing well this week, and Phil's one of those guys that you can't really base his future performance on his past results because he can miss the cut 3 weeks in a row and come and win at Augusta. So when he shows up at that golf course, just expect Phil Mickelson to be the old Phil, attacking and doing everything he can to get another green jacket, and he's got as much chance as all the younger guys who are gunning for it as well.
Yeah, Phil seems to love that course, and coming off a year where he had yet another heartbreak at the U.S. Open and then triumph at the British, it's looking like it could be another good year for him. But last spot on the line this week, one last tournament before the Masters. Who's over there playing, and who do you see getting that last spot? If they haven't got a spot yet, if they win, they get the at-large I guess I'm talking an NCAA tournament bids here. At-large bid to the Masters. Who do you see grabbing that, and what chances would you maybe give them there?
Well, right at the moment, Sergio Garcia is playing some incredible golf down in Houston, and that bodes well for him at Augusta. You know, Sergio's been kind of snake bit in the majors in his career, and he obviously a few years ago said at Augusta that he'll probably never win one. But I would not hold him to those words. The way he's playing right now and in the past year, I think Sergio could come into Augusta and be a significant threat. He's, in fact, one of my 5 favorites to contend and win the tournament. And right now he's 12 under in Houston and running away from it, hitting every fairway he's got in front of him and hitting every green. If he can do that, watch out.
Right, and let's talk a little bit about, before we get to your 5 favorites for the Masters, talk a little bit about, have any course changes been made to Augusta? Any of the holes been expanded or anything like that? Just same kind of layout like we had last year?
I haven't heard a lot about that. You know, they haven't announced anything, and normally it's the players who've come to take some reconnaissance missions at Augusta who tell us about things that are more subtle changes than anything else. And the only thing they've really been talking about this year is seeing that 17th hole, and I think it's kind of jarring for them without that big old Rob Raleigh fine there. So that's really the one that everybody's been talking about. But I'm sure there's some little subtle changes because they redo a couple of greens every year just for maintenance purposes. And there's sometimes a little bit of slope here and a little bit of a ledge there that they might add.
Right. And then I'm sorry, but just go ahead and give us your 5 favorites for the tournament if you could. Who do you like? Who do you like this year winning a green jacket?
Well, one of them that I really think has a great chance, I think Adam Scott could possibly be the 4th guy in the history of the Masters to repeat. He's just playing such good golf, and despite not winning when he had a golden opportunity at Bay Hill a couple weeks ago, I would not think that's going to distract him at all from trying to win a second green jacket, and I think he can do it. The guy he's really going to have to contend most with would be Rory McIlroy, who's shed that slump that he had last year and is playing terrific golf this year. He had a little hiccup in Florida as well and gave one away. But those two guys, you know, when they're at the peak of their game, they're tough to beat. And then some of the other guys I like. I think Bubba has been playing particularly well this year, putting particularly well, and obviously he plays well at Augusta. Jason Day, if his wrist is not bothering him, has threatened a couple of times. And so I would like his chances. And I mentioned Sergio, and if not Sergio, and if Dustin Johnson's back isn't bothering him, which he had an 80 and withdrew from Houston yesterday, if his back is not bothering him, he's played some terrific golf this year. So those are the guys, and you put in Phil, who I would think has the best chance.
Right, and looking at that a little bit more, obviously Adam Scott playing really well, but if we gave you the option of like American young guns, Ricky, Dustin, Bubba Watson versus the field, who would you take in terms of a winner?
Well, the amazing thing this year is this is probably the best rookie class of golfers that has ever come to Augusta for a first time. And it hasn't happened since 1979 and Fuzzy Zeller that a first-time Masters participant has won. But it would not surprise me if one of the guys out of that crowd this year came through and did it. You've got Jordan Spieth, who is just all-world and seems to show up anywhere and challenge. You've got Patrick Reed, who went to Augusta State, who's won 3 times in the last 11 months. You've got Jimmy Walker, who's won 3 times in the past already this season. And you've got some other great young guys like Victor Dubuisson. You've got Harris English, a native Georgian, who has won twice before he ever shows up at Augusta. You've got Chris Kirk, another UGA guy. You got Graham DeWitt, a Canadian who has all the game in the world to do well there. I really think that one of those guys might surprise everybody.
Right. It is a really amazing rookie class on the PGA Tour this year. And a lot of those Georgia guys, it means a lot. A lot of people saw an interview with I also like, what do you think about Brandt Snedeker's chances? He had his chance a couple of years ago there, made some mistakes on the back now, but obviously him being a Nashville boy, and it means a lot in terms of winning the Masters. What kind of chances do you give him?
I always give him a great chance. He loves Augusta more than any other place on earth, and it really means a lot to him. And I think that's what's held him back. The 2 opportunities he's had to win is he wants it so much that he gets a little sideways on Sunday and got in his own way. If he can get out of his own way, he's got a game perfect for Augusta, and he certainly wants it as much as anybody.
Right, and it's just such a special tournament, even with just to kind of explain, even some people will just tune out with Tiger not being there, but I mean the Masters is so incredible. I think it'll just go on. He wasn't there. I guess this is the first one he will have missed since the '90s, but just talk about kind of what it means to you and being able to cover it and how special it really is.
Well, it's obviously more special when Tiger's there. You like having the greatest player in the world at your event every time. And it's going to be different without him. It's been since 1994. The last time Tiger didn't play in the Masters, we were watching O.J. Simpson and his white Bronco drive away. So that's how long ago it's been. But the Masters itself is so special. And I told somebody this the other day. It's not Tiger that makes the Masters dramatic. It's Augusta National that makes the Masters dramatic. It doesn't matter who was there. It doesn't matter who were the guys on Sunday coming down the stretch. You're going to see a golf tournament that's probably the best and most dramatic all year long. And that's why the ratings, even without Tiger, will probably be higher than any other tournament all year.
All right. Well, Scott, we really appreciate the time. And just tell people where they can find you, and really look forward to all your great coverage at Augusta National. And thanks again. We appreciate it so much.
Okay, yeah, you can see all our stuff at Augusta.com. Nobody covers the Masters like we do. And we got a free app called Augusta Golf that you can get all of our stuff on it. And it really is worth checking out because, like I said, there's nobody else who covers it wall-to-wall like we do.
All right, well, thanks, Scott, and enjoy the 2014 Masters, I guess. Thanks again so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. And that's Scott Mannix from Augusta Golf.